Hi there, it's Grant here. I hope you've all had a great weekend. But in today's video, I want to talk about the risks of CBDCs and how they pose the biggest threat to your financial freedom and your future freedom should they become widely adopted and used by most people globally. I think these things are only just starting to come on most people's radars. But I don't think people really understand the implications of these new digital currencies should they become mainstream and widely adopted. Now, I've heard that the ultimate goal is to have one global currency, which will be a CBDC, and one government. Should that happen, then we could probably kiss our financial freedoms and our freedoms goodbye. So that's why CBDCs should never be brought in and should never come into existence, because they offer very little benefit over our current financial systems. And as far as I'm aware, their sole introduction doesn't, regardless of what the WF and, all of the big global financial sort of bodies say, the sole core of them is basically to spy on what we're buying and ultimately control what we buy and how we use our money. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run you through the potential risks of CBDCs, but there is hope and a solution if people are willing to accept it and be open-minded. If you're excited to learn more about CBDCs and what the solution is, why not smash the like button? Why not subscribe for more content like this? So let's crack on with today's video. So I'm on the Cato Institute, and it says the risks of CBDCs and why central bank digital currency should never be adopted, which I strongly agree with. So a central bank, that didn't go well. Just one moment. Okay, let's go back to the top and try again. Central bank digital currency, or CBDC, is a digital national currency. Basically, all of the countries in the world are either researching this, or they're potentially, going to do a pilot, or they already have the technology in place. In actual fact, the BRICS nations are sued to set their BRIC digital currency, which is basically going to go up against the US dollar, and it hopes to become the #1 global currency in the future. And I think there's going to be a big announcement about that currency in the BRICS summit, August 22nd to 24th. And on top of that, there is talk of a US digital dollar possibly coming into pilot as well. So the CBDCs are coming. So let's crack on and learn more about it. So, like paper dollars, the CBDC would be a liability of the Federal Reserve. And just so you know, the Federal Reserve and all of the central banks are not government owned. They are actually private institutions owned by the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and the most powerful institutions in the world. They own the global money supply. It's not the governments. A lot of people don't know this. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, they own the central banks who print and make the money. And I'll be honest with you, the US dollar and the Great British Pound and all the, sort of fiat currencies we use, they're pretty much worthless, because they could just print money on demand. But at the end of the day, we all use, especially the US dollar, it's still the global's #1 currency and most used. The fiat currencies are becoming less and less valuable. So I just thought I'd let you know about that. So let's carry on. So unlike dollars, paper dollars, it would offer neither the privacy protections nor the finality that cash provides. The direct digital liability, a sort of digital tether between citizens and central bank, makes CBDCs a radical departure from the digital dollars millions of Americans already use today. Let's crack through this a bit quicker. While CBDC would not offer any unique benefits to Americans compared to existing technologies, it would pose serious risks. For example, CBDC could spell doom for what little financial privacy protections remain. So here's a quote from BIS General Manager Augustin Carstens. We don't know who's using a $100 bill today, and we don't know who's using a 1,000 peso bill today. The key difference with the CBDC is the central bank will have absolute control on the rules and the regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also we will have the technology to enforce that. So essentially what he's meaning here is with the central bank digital currency, which is going to be run on something called a blockchain, which is the same technology cryptocurrencies run on. Difference is the CBDCs will be centralized, meaning the central banks will control them. They're programmable. And basically, they will see exactly who's spending what, where, how. And the thing is, these CBDCs are programmable, meaning they could put positive and negative interest rates on them, meaning that they could shrink your bank balance, take away your money if you don't spend it fast enough, limit you to not make certain purchases. So essentially your money isn't your own, spend as you will anymore. And I'm sure none of us want that. Put simply, a CBDC would most likely be the single largest assault to financial privacy since the creation of the Bank Secrecy Act and the establishment of a third-party doctrine. Now, I'm not going to go through here all of it because it's pretty long, but I'm going to bring you to another article. Risks that cannot be ignored about CBDCs. Although CBDC would not offer any unique benefits to Americans or anyone else for that matter compared with existing technologies, pose serious risks. In fact, Americans have already noticed that CBDCs pose a substantial threat to financial privacy, financial freedom, and the very foundation of the banking system. And it's these very risks that were cited across 2/3 of the 2052 comment letters written to the Fed posing its plan for a CBDC. So, as we see here, most Americans who wrote to the Fed have got a negative response to a US digital dollar. And only a small minority are positive and some are neutral or unclear. But I'm pretty sure all of those other people, once they realise that their financial freedom is under threat, all of them will be negative. But yeah, strong negativity towards the CBDC. Financial privacy. So here we go. Americans and everyone else for that matter have a right to privacy that is protected by the US Constitution, but the right to financial privacy has been chipped away for decades. Laws designed to counter terrorism, deter money laundering and collect taxes largely provide the government with the ability to conduct unchecked surveillance over financial information. Nonetheless, a CBDC could spell doom for what little protection remains because it would give the federal government complete visibility into every financial transaction by establishing a direct link between the government and each citizen's financial activity, which would be done through a blockchain, which is like an online ledger. And when a transaction is made, that is logged in the blockchain and is kept on record and can be clearly seen by the Federal Reserve or the central banks. So here we go. Let's look at financial freedom. The threat to freedom that a CBDC might pose is closely related to its threat to privacy. With so much data in hand and consumers so closely connected to the central bank, CBDC would provide countless opportunities for the government to control citizens' financial transactions. Such control could be preemptive, prohibiting and limiting purchases, behavior, spurring and curbing purchases, or punitive freezing and seizing funds. The programming capabilities of a CBDC could mean that people would be prohibited from buying certain goods or limited in how they might purchase. For example, advocates have quit that parents could program their children's lunch money with a condition that it can't be spent on sweets. It is important to consider the extended possibilities of such an option. Like parents trying to control their children, policymakers could try to curb drinking by limiting nightly alcohol purchases or prohibiting purchases for people with alcohol-related offences. In the case of government-mandated events during the COVID-19 pandemic, CBDC could be programmed to only exchange with essential businesses or alert authorities when citizens have incurred travel expenses. Possibilities for the programmability of a CBDC are nearly endless, and in all of them, even the best of intentions are just a few steps away from leading to serious abuses of power, which I think if they come into the mainstream, it's only a matter of time. So here we go. I'm just going to recap this. Aside from the basic programmability that a CBDC would offer for social and political control, one of its most common features is the ability to pay both positive and negative interest rates to curb and spur purchases. So if you've got, your digital dollars in your wallet or your bank, then if the Fed decides to slap a negative interest rate on your wallet or everyone's wallet, basically that would mean the balance in your bank account would disappear. And I have heard a lot of people saying that they could set time limits. So if you've got a balance in your account and if you don't spend it by a time limit, they could remove all of your money. So basically, if you use a CBDC, it becomes mainstream in your country or globally, then you can probably kiss your financial freedom and your freedom goodbye. Now, like I've said, these things haven't come in yet. It's far from a cert, but I can tell you every country on the planet is either researching it, piloting it, or one or two countries are going to be bringing them in. Like the first main one looks like it's going to be the BRICS currency from the BRICS nations. And like I said, there's going to be a big announcement of that, I think, in the BRICS summit, August 22nd to 24th, which would have serious implications, I think, for the US dollar, but I'm not going to go there. But yeah, CBDCs are being looked at. I can tell you that the governments of the world, WF and all of the big financial bodies really want to push CBDCs because it gives them financial control over the people. So they're really going to push this, but it's up to people to push back and say, no, we don't want them, which I think is critically important. But say if the worst happens, people just go like lemmings in CBDCs, there is hope. There is hope. And I hope people take it. And it is Bitcoin. And why? And not just Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies as well. And this is Michael Saylor, who's I think he's the world's largest holder of Bitcoin. He's a Bitcoin bull. And this is his site about Bitcoin. He says, Bitcoin is a bank in cyberspace run by incorruptible software. It's never been hacked. The Bitcoin network offering a global, affordable, simple and secure savings account to billions of people that don't have the option of or desire to run their own hedge fund. Basically, if you have Bitcoin in your wallet, you are your own bank. No one can put interest rates up or down on your Bitcoin. One Bitcoin will always equal one Bitcoin. It's deflationary. The supply of it's going to get smaller over time, meaning the value is going to go up. So it's a great store of value and a great grow of wealth. Michael Saylor thinks it's going to be the number one most valuable asset in the world in the years ahead. It's going to become like buying parts of New York back in the in the 1800s. The wealthy bought blocks of property and land in New York, and in the future, in the very near future, in fact, the wealthy are going to be buying blocks of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is going to be the new gold. It's going to be the digital gold. And more importantly than growing your wealth and protecting your wealth, more important than sort of growing your wealth, it's going to protect your wealth and financial future. Because like I said, once you hold Bitcoin, you own it. No one can touch it. No governments can see what you're spending. You can spend it how you want. You can send money to people. And it is going to be a great store of value. And that's why so many people, I believe, in the future are going to be storing a vast amount of their wealth in Bitcoin, because basically it is secure. It's a great store of wealth. It's the best performing asset on the planet in terms of returns. There's very little downside to Bitcoin. Now, none of this is financial advice. I'm not saying you should rush out and put all your money into Bitcoin, but I'm just saying, I think, when Bitcoin goes mainstream, which it will, when the, large institutions and normal people like you and me rush into Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin is going to go up. And I think once it becomes widely adopted, which I think is pretty much a dead cert, and people start buying stuff with it and storing their money in Bitcoin and their wealth, then yeah, Bitcoin is going to become accepted in terms of payments and everything. So yeah, Bitcoin is the hope for financial security, freedom, and freedom in general. So why is it time to get excited about Bitcoin? Well, the largest asset manager on the planet, BlackRock, has applied for a Bitcoin ETF application, and the SEC has accepted it and is looking into this. Now, I'm not going to go through the article, but I can tell you, if the SEC accepts BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, which basically allows BlackRock's investors to basically put money into this fund, and this fund's going to be pegged to Bitcoin, so they're going to get Bitcoin exposure. Potentially, thousands of people are going to get exposure, and billions of dollars are going to flow into this ETF if it gets approved, which I think it will do in the future, in fact, possibly in the next coming months. If this gets approved, you're going to see probably an instant double or treble of Bitcoin's price. And yeah, so this is one of the big things to look out for. And I do believe Fidelity have applied for a Bitcoin ETF as well. And something else, Michael Saylor is, the world's largest Bitcoin whale, predicts Bitcoin will reach 1 million. In fact, he's gone on record saying that, Bitcoin at the moment could reach over $20 trillion in value, the entire Bitcoin out there, which I think Bitcoin's worth at the moment around about 600 billion. So that would be, a huge increase in what it is. And, Bitcoin is, Michael Saylor and many others believe Bitcoin will be the number one most valuable asset on the planet. And I believe so as well. Just for a store of value, but also once people twig that CBDCs aren't good, people will be rushing to put their money into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will go mainstream. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, I believe, are going to be the savior should CBDCs come in. Now, again, this isn't financial advice. You shouldn't take this as financial advice. But as for myself, I am actively investing in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I'm looking at a lot of AI cryptocurrencies at the moment, and lots of others, which I'll talk about in a different video. But I'm giving myself more and more exposure to Bitcoin because I know it's going to help me protect my wealth, grow my wealth, but also should the worst happen and, the US dollar or the GBP crash, I know my money's going to be safe with Bitcoin. Even if Bitcoin goes up and goes down, I know it's going to come back stronger and stronger. So yeah, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. I mean, more and more people and institutions will be following in years ahead. And just some other things as well. Next year is going to be Bitcoin's halvening. It's going to happen April, May next year, 2024. When that happens, you can pretty much expect the price of Bitcoin to double or treble from what it is at the moment. Could be more, could reach well over $100,000, maybe $150,000. The whole crypto market is going to, the whole crypto market will return. So it's going to be the return of a crypto bull market next year. You can bet a load of people are going to be throwing money into the crypto market, Bitcoin next year after Bitcoin's halvening. So yeah, some exciting times ahead for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because cryptocurrency, I believe, will be the future of money and financial freedom and freedom. So just going to finish very quickly, just looking at Bitcoin's price. Bitcoin today is at $29,000. But like I said, in the year, next year, that Bitcoin could be easily $100,000 to $150,000, especially after the halvening. Could be even more than that. Who knows? Ethereum, that's, next year Ethereum could 10x from what it is in the moment. I've got a strong exposure to Ethereum and Bitcoin. Again, not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You don't have to do the same. But yeah, I'm really quite bullish about crypto. So yeah, these are the prices, live prices at the moment, but I'm pretty sure these prices won't be staying like this for long. They're going to be shooting up in the next 12 months, especially after Bitcoin's halving next April, May, and during the next crypto bull run. So there we go. That's what I've got for you. Now you know the risks of CBDCs. They're the biggest threat to our financial freedom and our freedoms. I'm hoping people don't adopt them, because the governments are going to be, running little pilots. They'll bring them in sneakily, going to offer all sorts of crazy incentives for people to use them. I'm hoping people push back against them, but if they do come in, there is hope. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are the hope, and I think more and more people are going to be feeling the same. There, more and more money is going to be flowing into crypto, true cryptos and Bitcoins, because these are decentralized. Just quickly, meaning no one owns them, no one controls them, no one can see what you're doing. They're completely decentralized. You own them. You're pretty much your own bank. So hopefully this video has given you a big picture of what's going on in the financial world. Some crazy stuff going on. The big powers are desperately trying to bring in CBDCs, but there is hope, and cryptocurrency is that hope. Now, I'll just finish by saying, if you're worried about CBDCs and you want to protect your wealth, and I can highly recommend joining Tika Tawari's Palm Beach Letter. I've been a member now for 18 months, and Tika's going to show you, if you join today, you're going to get his special investment package, and part of his special investment package is the 3 steps you need to take to opt out of the digital dollar. The digital dollar is basically going to be the CBDC now. In full act of honesty and transparency, and no idea if it's going to be coming in by September 20th, but the US is strongly considering, the Fed is strongly trying to push out a US digital dollar. Whether it happens by September 20th later on or at all, who knows? But Tika is going to show you how to protect your wealth and protect yourself from the digital dollar. If you join his Palm Beach Letter, in the Palm Beach Letter, there's a massive crypto course, master crypto course that will teach you everything you need to know how to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrencies so you can grow and protect your wealth for the future. I highly recommend that you join it. Normally it's $199, but you can join now for $49. I've been a member for 18 months, and it's helped me massively, especially in the area of cryptocurrency. So if you want to join the Palm Beach Letter, I'll leave a link down below in the description and comments so you can check it out and purchase. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee, and $49 will lock your membership in for a whole year. Anyway, that's what I've got for you. I really hope you found this video useful and informative, and I will speak to you soon.